Hey, what's up, bro? I don't want nobody to take this like I'm internet beefing. You know, sometimes I be playing like I'm internet beefing. It ain't no such thing with that with me. Sometimes I got a different opinion than certain people. But I done let this conversation and this topic go for too long. And like I said before I even get into it, I ain't beefing. And I definitely don't have no problem with Ronnie Red. And I ain't got no problem with Tampa. However, I just seen an old video that my homies kept sending me from Ronnie Red. Now, shout out to KC Street Element, shout out to Ronnie Red, shout out to Tampa. I got family from Tampa. But I keep seeing Ronnie Red, and I don't know if it's for clicks or for the internet success, because, you know, he doing this thing. Like I said, shout out to Ronnie Red on the internet. Had a conversation with him, vibe was 100. So, I don't know if he just keep talking about DC, because DC is the thing to talk about. I understand that, you know, you got some dudes that love us, some dudes that hate us, but you got a lot of dudes that's gonna respect us, and they ain't really got no choice in that matter. So let me just keep it simple. I notice that Ronnie Red always say that, you know, he messed with some dudes out of DC. Okay, cool, fine and dandy. But with every statement that you make like that, there's a backhanded statement right behind it that in some shape, form, or fashion degrades, belittles, or focuses too much on the lesser elements of the men from Washington, D.C. that he encountered in prison. So in my little pushback, this ain't a back and forth, but in my little pushback, let me just say this to Ronnie Red, and let me say this to people who don't understand what's up with D.C. dudes and the feds. For the haters, I will address them at the end, because I don't want it to be misconstrued like I'm sneak dissing Ronnie Red or I'm talking to Ronnie Red with that. I'm going to address the haters, the bona fide haters, directly at the end. But let me say this for Ronnie Red. First and foremost, Ronnie Red ain't did enough time to fully understand the whole DC car, DC blacks, or any dudes that come from DC. Ronnie Red did about 20 years in the feds. I think he came to the feds in the early 2000s. Homeboy, you are a little nigga when it come to federal history, Ronnie Red. There's no disrespect to you. I think you might be older than me, or you might be my age, but I will be a little nigga too. However, I'm a bigger historian of prison history, law and history than you. So let me inform you and educate you about something, Ronnie Red. First of all, you said that the connection between DC and New Orleans started at Pollock. You're absolutely incorrect. The big homies from the 70s was at Oakdale, Louisiana. New Orleans dude ran DC dudes damn near off the compound, and when DC dudes regrouped and they came back, New Orleans and DC dudes formed somewhat of a pact. Second thing that you don't know about the history between DC and New Orleans. Many people from New Orleans and many people from DC in the 70s. And remember, New Orleans dudes and DC dudes had a connection before the 70s. I'm just going to the 70s right now. Some of the guys from New Orleans and St. Louis and Washington, D.C. were what you call Moorish Americans, Ronnie Red. It was a bigger connection than being geographical, and I ain't going to educate too much on that. I just want you to know that. Another thing I want you to know, Ronnie Red, I want you to know that you said New Orleans is from the South. I don't know how they got caught up with D.C. The Mason-Dixon line is above D.C. D.C. is the top of the South. Some people even say Baltimore is the top of the South. Baltimore and D.C. are below the Mason-Dixon line. And so, yeah, some educated people, not to say that the people from the South are uneducated, but some uneducated people from the South don't know that D.C. is in the South. It's a mid-Atlantic city that was created with a Southern vibe because all the white people that was Democrats and Republicans that had to stay in this city where I'm from wanted it to be like their Southern states. So when you talk about the South, homeboy, DC is a part of the South, although we are mid-Atlantic and we got our own swag. The other thing I need to really get you and all your people that listen to you to understand, you keep saying, when I met DC dudes, they had closed Lawton, so you throw that part in there. And then you say how much of a ragtag crew came from Lawton. Everybody should know that the dudes that get convicted of federal crimes out of federal court, they go to the feds from DC, they act different. We talking about dudes like Tony Lewis, Anton White. I just stopped there because those are names that are among the elite. As I say, don't look at the garbage from where we from and criticize us. Look at the elite from where we from. But if they shut down the Florida prison system and they sent every one of your crackheads, your homosexuals, your thieves, your rapists, your purse snatchers, what would the feds look like if they did that to Florida state? Now, You not just from Florida, Ronnie Red. You from Tampa. Tampa don't even have their own car, no disrespect. So they can't close every Tampa jail and send all your homies there for you or me or the world to keep analyzing them over and over and over again. When you speak of DC, Ronnie Red, why don't you speak about Wendell Smith? You was in a cell with him. Talk about him. Ain't nobody play with Big Dog. Big Dog done slapped niggas, paid for people to get visits, sent car money home, sent kids to college. Talk about Big Dog when you talk about us, Ronnie Red. Talk about the dude you was in a cell with. Talk about him when you talk about the homies and you talk to these dudes and these suckers on these podcasts. But nevertheless, I'm going to get back to that. If they close every prison with Tampa dudes in it, not just Florida, because I don't want to include the rest of Florida in it, bruh, you would have a bunch of riffraff in the feds too. Y'all don't have your own car from Tampa. Let's keep that clear. Y'all always in a car with the dirty South or Florida or Miami. So, bruh, when you analyzing us and you talk about we ain't the only ones to go hard, we never say we the only ones to go hard. We always say we ain't going for shit. And you know we ain't going for nothing. But DC is below the Mason-Dixon line. We the top of the South, homie. We cool with New Orleans niggas because some of them niggas act just like us. And you say that they in the same activity, knife slinging, homosexuality. Name a city in Florida that don't got a jail with prison with homosexuality in it. Name a city or a state out the South that don't got niggas that's on homosexuality, bruh. Stop making that shit synonymous with DC, Ronnie Red. Free the rear.